Hi, I'm Jones, and I want to talk to you a little bit about fostering to foster versus fostering to adopt, and how, over the course of time, my heart and my thought process have changed on this. Now, when we first started, we were fostering to adopt, and we still are. Fostering to adopt, you go in and you think, hey, this is going to be great. We're going to get our first kid, and we're going to foster them, and after a period of time, their parental rights are going to be termed, and we're going to go ahead and adopt them. Um, that's not always the case. As a matter of fact, it is quite the opposite. Sure, there are people that go in, get their first kiddo in their house, and everything works out great. Um, but you have to remember the court's reason for putting a child into foster care is that the child was in danger in some way, shape, or form. And for that kid to be placed into your house, a family has to break. There's damage there beyond just what the court has taken them for. The child's coming with trauma. They're coming in broken. They've just been ripped out of their home. Um, but ultimately, the court is trying to reunite that family. And that's an awesome thing. We get asked all the time at this point whether we think we're going to adopt a child that comes in, specifically our daughter that just returned to her family. Um, that's a double edged sword. Do I want to adopt her? Sure. We absolutely love our kid. Every kid we bring in is treated and loved and raised as if they were our own. And we would adopt them in a heartbeat. But at the same time, if they can go back to a home that's healed and is loving and is going to help them thrive with their own blood, why wouldn't that be our goal? Why shouldn't that kid be allowed to go back to that and live the rest of their lives in a home that's no longer a danger to them? So that's what I'm saying. Foster to adopt technically is a thing, but when you go into foster to adopt, you might want to sit and think about the fact that you're really going into foster to foster with the outlying chance that a child will be adoptable. Now, where I am, there's about a 2 year period that the parents have to get their act together, work their service plan, and get their child back. Beyond that, they can get an additional 6 months. So you're looking at possibly having the child for 2.5 years before those parental rights are even termed. And then beyond that, they can go and appeal. And then you're turning into this whole other thing, and a whole longer case that gets drawn out. Now, we know people that have had infants from like 4 days after they've been born, raised them for 2 years. The parents really don't know this child. This is the foster parent's kid. Think about it. You've had them since 4 days old, and then they finally go back home. That happens. It also happens that kids go into the system and they get termed, their parental rights get termed pretty quick because the parents might have a history of, use or something that caused them to have a more rapid pace of losing those rights. So there's both sides, but my heart and my thought on fostering has changed over time. I take it more or less day by day. You never know when those kids are going to go, or at least for the most part, and they need to be loved. They need to be treated like you're going to have them forever, even if you're going to have them for a week. That's what these kids deserve. That's what they need. That's what helps them thrive. That's what helps them get to a better place. And even if they leave your care, they'll remember that. I don't care if they're 12 months old or 12 years old. It will stick with them. They'll know that there's a better way of living and a better way of being treated and loved. Now, when you first get your kid and say it's a brand new foster placement, the parents ran into whatever troubles they're having, child gets placed with you. You're their first stop. They've never been in another foster home. The state is going to try and work with the parents to find another place for these children. They'll try and put them in what's called a kinship program. So you could be sitting there waiting for home inspections to be done and background checks to be run, and for the first 2 weeks, month and a half, that kid could be leaving at any time. Make sure you're talking to your caseworker. Keep a pulse on that so that you understand when that kid might be coming, so you're not sideswiped. We didn't really talk about foster to foster. I mean, in my eyes, foster adopt and foster foster are the same thing. Foster foster is you take kids in knowing that they're going to go back, knowing that the case is exactly that. They're going to be with you temporarily, and that's awesome. But when you do foster and adopt, just keep in the back of your mind that it's really foster foster, just with the chance that the rights will be termed. Now there is another option, and that is sitting and waiting for children that are in foster to foster homes, that their rights are being termed, and you can go ahead and swoop in at the last minute and apply to adopt these kids. We did that once, and we ended up waiting about a month and a half to get a result on whether they would be coming to us or not. It's much like a job application, where they take your home study and your giant packet of information that you filled out and the notes from your agency, and they turn them into the CPS worker. And the CPS worker waits and gathers all these different quote-unquote resumes, right? And then finally goes through them all to find the best fit for that child. And in the meantime, you might have other kids. You might just be waiting. And if that's what you want to do, that's totally awesome. For us, we wanted to get kids in the home. We wanted someone to love. We wanted to make a difference in that time period. And waiting just kind of drove us nuts. So I guess what I'm saying in conclusion is, when you go to look at fostering, sit and figure out what you want to do. Do you want to foster to adopt with the chance that the kids coming in will be adoptable and the chance that they'll be leaving you at the last moment? And you really never know, but you need to live every day like those kids are the most important thing in the world. Or do you want to go foster to foster, where these kids are coming in, you're loving them every day and raising them and bettering them, and then you know for a fact that they're not going to be staying with you, and even if their rights end up getting termed, you are going to pass them along to a forever family? Or do you want to be that forever family that's just waiting in the wings and hoping that when those kids in the foster to foster or the foster adopt system are available, that you can go through the application process and get your forever child? All three are awesome. All three have their different strengths and the different weaknesses. That's all a personal choice. Just remember, any way you decide to go with these three, these children have been ripped from their families. Another family has broken so that yours can be put together. They are looking to you for love, support, and ultimately the best way to live. Because they might not know any better. And every one of these children deserves the best treatment they can get so that they can thrive. If you have any questions, you want to have a conversation on this, please feel free to reach out to me on the email. They'll be in the notes below. And just really think about it. And then if you do decide that foster to adopt is the way you want to go, work on that mindset that these children are here for a limited time, with the chance that they could be here forever, and love them every minute. Raise them as if they're your own, and give them the best of you and all you've got, even though they could be ripping a piece of your heart out and taking it with them. We've gone through 9 foster kids at this point. Each one of them has taken a piece of my heart, and I wouldn't change it. I love those kids, and they will forever be a part of my family, whether they're staying with us forever or not.